Good morning, welcome back everybody to another episode on the channel. Today's episode, guys, we are going to be showing you guys how to launch a boat by yourself. So I've got my big 21-foot Triton here, and this is a question that I've had numerous times in the comment section on the channel, and that is, how do you launch a boat by yourself? Now, when you first get your boat, guys, it can be kind of intimidating to go ahead and launch, especially if you know that you're going to be going to like a busy landing or something like that. Especially on the Mississippi River, there's a lot of tournaments. So if you're fishing tournaments or you want to, you know, that morning's going to be pretty busy getting your boat in. Also, you know, just on the weekend when most people have time to fish, the landings can get pretty busy and they're pretty big. You can launch some of the landings, you can launch like 4 to 5 boats at a time. They're just that wide, so it can be kind of intimidating. So today we're going to show you guys how I launch. I fish by myself quite a bit, so I can launch this boat, launch and load it, no problem. So today we're going to show how to launch a boat by yourself. Before we jump into today's episode though, and before we start going here, today's video is actually sponsored by Super K Jigs. So if you guys have never heard of Super K Jigs, they are a company that I personally work with because I really believe in their products, guys. So all of their stuff, they're a jig company. They make terminal tackle as well, but they do swim jigs, football jigs, all sorts of jigs. But what sets them apart from everybody else, guys, is they are hand-tied jigs. Jigs hold up. I've used jigs that have the rubber bands on them, and for how much you pay for jigs, and I'll tell you this, you will pay more for one of these companies that have rubber banded skirt on there. You'll pay more for that jig than you'll pay for a Super K jig. Super K jigs come with really good hooks on them, guys, and they're all hand tied, so they really hold up. If you guys are interested in any sort of jigs from Super K, I'll link them down below in the description. Also, if you guys use the code WW20, it's going to save you guys 20% off of your first order with Super K. So use that code WW20. It's going to save you guys 20% off of your order at Super K, and like I said, I'll link them down below, so go check them out. All right, so now let's get into launching the boat here. So first thing you're going to do, guys, is you are going to pull off to the side. Do not get in the way of the ramp. So the ramp is right over here with the dock over there, and I am pulled off to the side here. And the reason that you're pulling off to the side, guys, is this is the time you're going to use to prep your boat. This is the time when you're going to take off the boat buckles. You're going to do all that other stuff. So pull off to the side. Don't get in the way of the landing. It's just a common courtesy to do that. You don't want to be that guy that pulls in front of the ramp and is hogging the ramp and not ready to launch their boat. First thing you're going to do, guys, when you're launching your boat by yourself, I'm just going to go through the whole thing that I do. First things first, guys, is go ahead and take these boat buckles off. The other thing, make sure your plug is in. Mine is not in. All right, very important, the plug is in. Then I come over to this side and we'll take this boat buckle off as well. And then we have to take the motor toter off. So we're just gonna go ahead and trim up the motor. That drops off and we can pull the motor toter off. So then I just go ahead and toss mine right there, and then I also have to turn the power on to my boat. So now the back of the boat is done. I got the motor toter off, boat buckles are out, and the plug is in, and then I turn the power on to my boat. To the front of the boat, I just turned it off back there so I don't have any possible drainage of power. Now we move up to the front of the boat. So the first thing that I like to do is obviously take the safety strap off. This is not a good safety strap, don't recommend it. And then what I like to do right here, guys, is there's multiple ways you can do this part of it. All right, so we're at the front of the boat. Now there's multiple ways you can do the front of the boat. You can either leave the winch strap on like I'm gonna show you. Like my way of launching a boat isn't the only way. I've done it other ways too. Or you can take a rope and you can tie off on that hook and tie it to your trailer, or you can have a rope and then stretch it to the bed of your truck. However you wanna do it. This is just the way that I found is most convenient. There's less equipment involved, if you will, and for me personally, it gives you that extra security. So what I like to do here, and I'll turn the camera around and show you really quick, I actually leave the winch strap on, and all I do is I flip my winch, and then I give this a good 10 to 15 cranks. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14, 15. So I give this 15 cranks. So now the reason why I give that about 15 cranks, guys, and I leave that hooked up, so when I'm backing in, all that's gonna happen is this boat is gonna float up, and if I do go in like super far and it floats off the trailer, that winch is attached and it's gonna grab that boat so it doesn't float away. And if it does float off a little bit, I can use the winch to crank it back to me. Now I'm gonna set up the tripod and show you guys the rest of the video here. I'm just gonna voice over the rest here, so we're just gonna hop in the truck now and show you that process.
Everybody, so the first thing you're gonna do is get yourself lined up with the landing. Take your time coming down that ramp, use your mirrors, and like I said, just take your time, get lined up. You don't have to do this super fast, just take your time. And then once that back of the boat is starting to get into the water, just slow yourself down till the back of the boat starts floating, and then the front end is going to come right off like it did. And as you can see, my winch handle's going. The winch is still hooked up, like I said, but it's keeping the boat secure. So if it was to start floating and I backed in too far, I would be able to actually winch the boat back to me. It's just an extra security in case that were to happen. After that, jump into the boat like I am right now, and then fire up the big motor, let it idle for a second, and then all you have to do is just back it off of the trailer like I am. And then obviously you're gonna have to let your truck and trailer sit there for a second, and then all you're gonna do is, like I said, back off, and then you're just gonna come up onto the other side of the landing if you have the space, or next to the dock somewhere, and then you can just come up onto the shoreline. I'm power pulling down because I have that option. Otherwise, you're gonna have to tie off to the dock. Then jump in your truck, pull your truck and trailer out, and go park it, and then return to your boat.
So there you guys have it. That is how to launch a boat by yourself. Now, like I said before in the video, guys, it helps to really go slow as you're coming down the landing, and don't rush yourself in this process. I know there may be people waiting, but most people are pretty considerate at the fact that you're launching by yourself if they see that. So if I see somebody launching by themselves, I really, I tend to be more considerate of that. I mean, it does take some more time. You want to do it right, obviously, but it's really not that difficult of a process, guys. Once you do this a few times, I promise you'll have it down pat. You kind of get in the rhythm, kind of get in the sway of things. It does help to make sure that you have a dock wherever you're going. If you don't have a dock where you're going, just make sure you kind of have the things for that. I have power pulls, so it's really nice when I pull up next to the dock, I can just power pull down. If you don't, you're gonna have to, tie off. Thankfully, I have a keel guard on there as well, so, I can kind of bump onto the landing without worrying about, messing up my boat or anything like that. So, but a pretty easy process. So if there's anything in this video, questions, concerns that you guys have that I did not mention, leave them in the comments below and I'll answer them for you guys. If there's anything I forgot that you guys use you've launched your boat before, leave it in the comments below as well. But other than that, that's how I launched my boat. Pretty easy process. It's really not that intimidating, even with a big boat. This is a 21-foot rig, and I still launch and load it no problem by myself. Hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. Make sure you guys go check out Super K down below in the description. Use that code to save yourself some money on some jigs. I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. Remember to like and subscribe. Please give this video a share as well, and we will see you guys on the next one.